going to get started any second now. Come in, sign in, take a seat. Thank you. One more minute. On this beautiful spring evening. Hopefully it cools off a little bit in here now. So my name is Beth Dearmond. I am here from the Mackenzie PTA and will be moderating tonight's conversation with the candidates for Board of Education. So I want to first start by saying thank you to all of you gentlemen who have dedicated your time and energies to campaigning to run for the Board of Education. We all truly appreciate your efforts thus far and your continued involvement after the election. The format for the first part of this evening will be as follows. Each candidate will have the opportunity to speak to the audience for a timed period of 5 minutes to give a brief overview of their background and platform for the available seat on the Board of Education. The order in which the candidates will speak was drawn by blind selection in the district clerk's office and will be as follows. Mr. Scott Halleck, Mr. Peter Carnesi, and Mr. John Tice. After each candidate has been given the opportunity to speak, a period of question and answers will follow. This time will allow you, the public, to ask questions to the group as a whole or to specific candidates. I ask that you please line up right here at the podium and wait patiently for your turn should you want to address the candidates. Please be sure to state your name and town of residence prior to asking your questions, and as much as we all hate it, you have to use the microphone. I am aware and appreciate that the public has some very passionate feelings about our district and recent issues that have come to light. So during this time, I ask you, now that we're at Mackenzie, that you please all remember our Mackenzie manners. Be safe, be responsible, and be respectful. Gentlemen, are you ready? All right, Mr. Howe.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out to this. My name is Scott Halleck. For anyone who does not know me, I was born and raised in the town of Howland, where I reside for the past 51 years. I attended Elgin Central School, graduated in 1985, with my high school sweetheart, whom I later married in 1987. We raised 3 wonderful children who are all graduated from Elgin School. I now have 2 grandchildren who are currently attending George Ross Mackenzie Elementary School. I have very strong ties with the Elgin Central community. I have worked for Orange and Rockland Utilities for the past 31 years. While working there, I was on a negotiating team for 4 different contracts between O&R and Local 503. I was also a shop steward for 25 years. In addition, I have part-time landscaping business with my son, Scott Halleck Jr., Buck. I served as a town of Highland councilman for 8 years. At that time, I worked under 2 different town supervisors. I have experience working with budgets and working as a team. I have experience with our town, and I know the local community. I understand trying to produce the most public good at an affordable cost. I understand the values of our small school, that students in Elgin are more than just a number in our family. I'd like to wish these 2 gentlemen luck in the election, and the outcome will not change my opinion of either one of you guys. I'd like to start off with saying, I'm glad I'm not on Facebook. Never was and never will be. And I'm really sad to see what's going on in our town, in our community, in our school district. I don't agree with it. I will never agree with it. If I have something to say to anybody, I'll come knock on your door, I'll call you on the phone, talk to you face to face. It's very easy to sit there and type on a keyboard and bash people. That's not what this town's all about. This community, this town of Lumberland, and the town of Highland has got to come together with this school district and get this place back on its feet. That's the bottom line here. Our kids are at stake here. You start tuitioning out our kids, you're going to lose a lot of things here. That's not what this community and this high school is all about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carmisi?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out as well. And I know this is your precious evening time when you'd rather be sitting home watching TV than listen to us here, that's for sure. My name is Peter D. Carmisi. I've volunteered my country, my community, and my fellow veterans for over 50 years. I have 5 children, 3 boys and a girl, and 11 grandchildren. My 5 children did attend Elgin Central School back in '89-90. I moved back to the city a few years after that, and they all graduated down the city. So who is Pete Cummings? I was born in Englewood, New Jersey. I joined the U.S. Navy during the Vietnam War. I served my country honorably. When I came home from the service, I met my wife. Together we raised 5 children, 4 sons and 1 daughter. Today we have 11 grandchildren and 1 on the way, ranging from 17 years of age, and the 12th child is on the way. All of our school-age children attend public school. For 30 years, I worked as a Teamster truck driver for local 707 and local 560 in New Jersey, and 707 out of Queens, New York. I moved up to Barryville in '08, but I've had the place there since '93. I'm also the commander of the Tustin Highland Lumberland VFW post. I also am the county commander for the county council for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and governing all the local VFWs in the county here. I'm also on the Sullivan County Veterans Coalition, which I serve on the honor guard burying our veterans at the Veterans Cemetery and our local cemeteries here in town. We buried 32 veterans last year. What else we got here? I don't want to read the whole thing because I don't want to bore you. I have very close connections with all the legislators. I work with John Bonasek, Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther, Congressman John Faso, Congressman Chris Gibson, and all of our Sullivan County legislators, as well as Nadia Reyes and Lou Alvarez. I work with Jim Farrell, our DA, and of course, our new supervisor here, newly elected here in Lumberland, Jenny Milan, and Jeff Haas of Highland. I've attended every town board meeting since '08, maybe missed about 3, I believe. I only attended a few school board meetings. I'm sorry to say I did not attend them, but being with helping the veterans and going to the school board meetings and all the other things I do in the community here, I just don't have the time sometimes. And I guess I'll have to go to the meetings if I get elected for sure. Anyway, I'm running because I'm very sad the crisis the district is in right now. And our children are not getting a fair shake here. And it's all about the kids, is it not? It sure is. Because they're our future. They're our future leaders, hopefully. So we as leaders have to mold them into leaders. So we need to keep this district going. Keep it going strong. Find out where our mistakes are. Forget the past is the past. We need to move on. Like Scott said, there's been a lot of bashing on Facebook. I don't answer to any of that. I'm sorry, because I don't feel it's productive at all. Okay, if somebody has a question, come to me, I'll answer it, just like Scott. I'm not afraid to tell anybody my views. I'm here for one reason, and one reason only, for the children and the community and our taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parisi. Mr. Tice?
My name is John Tice. I moved to Eldred 18 years ago, and I graduated in the year 2003. I graduated Eldred Central High School. I'm a father of 3 boys, Mason, Jacob, and Colin, and I married my high school sweetheart, Heather Westfall Tice. A little about me. When I graduated, I went on to work construction and then furthered my career into a union mechanic, negotiating contracts and that type of stuff. Although I love my job, nothing beats raising my boys alongside my high school sweetheart and becoming an active participant in our children's lives as they become more of a priority of mine. In 2013, I started coaching the American Youth Soccer Organization, and there's nothing like teaching our children how to work together on the ball field. I am dedicated to our children and yours. Eldred Central District is going through a difficult time right now. It is my desire to work hard for our children and community, to tackle the difficult issues such as our budget and keeping our taxpayers' best interest in mind. It is my belief we need to utilize our resources to ensure that our district begins to thrive. There has to be a balance between academics, music, arts, programs, and extracurricular activities. As a father of 3 boys, 2 of which are currently involved with both education and recreational activities, I will advocate for our children. I believe wholeheartedly that extracurricular activities should be part of the mission. These programs are important as they teach our children to work together as a team. Not only that, but they help children develop the ability to turn failures into gains and hard work into results. My youngest son will graduate from Eldred in 2034. I want to ensure that Eldred Central School District is still here long after. In the meantime, I believe we need to explore different means and utilize the resources to protect our greatest asset, our children. We need to ensure that our teachers are being taken care of and that we do not lose any more positions in this district. It's time to ask the hard questions and demand honest answers. It will not be easy, but I'm certain together we can make our school system thrive. We need to come together to ensure longevity of the Eldred Central School District. It's going to take work. It is my belief that our children should not be punished for the financial situation we are in. Looking forward, if elected, I will work hard to advocate for our children, our teachers, and our community. It is my desire to ensure that our children will continue to be challenged both academically and within their chosen extracurricular activities. We need to look forward with a positive outlook and on the future of our district. Together, we can exhaust every opportunity to keep Eldred Central School District on the map forever. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much. We are very lucky, we are a very lucky community to have 3 competent, caring people who are running for our school district. So thank you. Okay, so this is the part of the evening where you all get to ask questions and all those burning things that are on your mind. So if you do have a question, please come up to the podium, announce your name, where you live, and ask your question to the board.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Sean O'Connor. I live in Glennis Bay here, and town of Wumberland. I think any one of you three are going to be an excellent choice. But I didn't hear anything with regard to a long-term solution to the bottom numbers here. We only have so much money to do what we need to do to get the job done. I myself am also a union man. I've watched my union change. I left for about 15 years. And I remember what it was before and what it has been since the last 13 years I have been back. It is a totally different world, and it is a better world because we lost more market share than we could shake a stick at, because we kept doing business the old way. Now there's a little bit of a new attitude, and they're learning that there's only so much that you can squeeze out of a dollar. And in our perspective, it has to be the productivity, trying to bring a job in on time and let the contractor make some money. That's the private sector. In the public sector here, we have to work within the confines of the state aid given. All the passion in the world isn't going to buy one more gallon of fuel oil if we're running facilities. And I would just like to hear your views on how you gentlemen have given thought to taking the numbers we have and not just wishing and hoping more state aid comes. Granted, I believe this district needs more state aid. We're not going to get it. I am very politically involved in my own union, and we're almost not a good friend to the schools, but he's a great friend to union labor because he's becoming all about jobs. And he's forsaking everything else in this state to try to keep the jobs coming in. The tax abatements he's giving for roads, bridges, construction is fantastic for us, but everybody else is suffering. The school is suffering in direct correlation. That's politics. That's the reality. So if we could just hear a little bit about how you might think to move forward with Russell, Dr. Morgano, and other board members to make a monumental change. Now, I heard you Scott, mentioned tuition. I'm not a fan of any of that. But in my opinion, and it's a very limited opinion at that, but if it meant the quality education that we cannot give because we are drawing the short straw with the state of New York, that's something you cannot look at with all the passion, you cannot rule out with all the passion in the world. If there is another course of action, I'd love to see it be taken. Yeah. You guys got it.
Well, this is stuff that has been talked about in 15 years, so. Well, I have an open mind on a lot of things, okay? Tuition out to kids is not out of you know, that's not where I want to go.
Scott, can you talk into the microphone? Yeah.
Okay, that's not where I want to go, is tuition out to kids. There's options of looking at maybe putting them all back in one building. There's an option, maybe, I don't know. I haven't spoken to anybody with numbers of kids. Is it feasible? Is it practical to do that? I don't know. I don't have that answer. But what I do know is we can look at some insurances that the teachers have, retired insurances. We can look at other things. But as far as what the kids come up with, you know, come kids, that's not where I want to go with this at all. So there are options that we can look at, and I'm open to any suggestion at all. That's one thing. I will listen to anybody because I work in a Durham, I'm a Durham. I don't know a whole lot, but I'll listen, and if it's a good idea, I'll take it back to the people that can. Thank you.
I agree with Scott wholeheartedly. We need to keep the schools open if we can, okay? If we can't, then we have to go other avenues, okay? We need to find out where the money's being spent. We have to sit down, look it over when we get up there, whoever gets elected, and see where this money's being spent. We're getting $10 million in tax dollars from the taxpayers, and another $6 million in state aid, different aids, okay? Where is that money going? It's almost $17 million. How is this being spent? Okay? We got to find out where that money's going and see where we can make cuts that are not going to hurt the kids. We need to continue with the programs we have. We don't want to cut any more programs because we cut some already and it's not good. It's not good. So, listen, everything's up in the air, everything's on the table. We have to look at the paperwork and see what exactly is going on. I personally believe that the budget that Mr. Russell brought forward, we should go with that this year, try and get through another year, and see what we can do next year to make the budget better. But we need to move forward now. Now's the time. We can't wait any longer, because we're in a crisis here, and we have to solve this, and we can do this together between the superintendent and the other 4 board members, and what is elected here, one of us, and see the solutions and see what we have to do to make it right for the kids. Thank you.
Well, I'd have to say I agree with both of them. They cover just about every aspect that's going on with the district. There's a lot of issues with the insurance. Is the premiums being paid enough sufficiently? Tuitioning the kids out, that would be an absolute last resort. I would never want our kids to leave our teachers, because I just don't want that. I grew up here. I went to this school. I graduated from here. But I do want every opportunity. We have to stop taking away from the kids. And we need to look at the pensions and the raises and everything, where the money's going. It's just, it's hard to point a finger at it without sitting down and going through each line by line and figuring out where it is. But we can't keep cutting. And that's basically it. We got to keep this school going the best we can and keep our kids up number 1.
Good evening. I'm Audrey Bukowski from Glen Spey, New York. First of all, thank all 3 of you for running. This is a terrible job. I don't know why anyone would want to do it. Maybe everybody who does. and you're going to be joining, one of you will be joining the board at a very difficult time. So thank you. I have a question for you in 2 parts. With the understanding that in the school hierarchy, the faculty report to the superintendent reports to the school board, and the school board reports to the taxpayers. In that same hierarchy, the faculty is represented by the teachers union, and the taxpayers are supposed to be represented by the school board. So my 2 questions for you are, number 1, if elected, who will you represent? And 2, when time comes to force concessions, which you will have to do, who's going to have to make concessions first, faculty or students?
Faculty have to make concessions. And if that doesn't work, then the students, you want to speak first? No, go ahead, you started. That's kind of a tough question, but listen, the kids have to be the last resort. That's the bottom line. So if there's movement in the faculty that we can do that won't hurt a lot, I'm all for doing that. The last thing I want to do is hurt the kids. That's what we're here for. As far as representing, we have to represent the taxpayers. They're the ones that put us in office. We have to make sure things are being done from Mr. Morgano to us. People are reporting things to Mr. Morgano. We need to make sure procedures are followed and the laws are followed through and things like that. That's what has to be done here. Okay, thank you.
I think Scott said it pretty much. Basically, we have to look over what's going on. We really don't know, okay? We don't have a lot of answers tonight. I'm sorry to say that because this is a learning experience for me, to say the least. I wasn't aware of so much stuff that goes on here, okay? Good and bad, actually. So, I mean, we have to look over everything, but it's about the kids, keeping the district open, and yes, I have to say that we have to worry about our taxpayers. A lot of them are young taxpayers that are raising a family. I'm a senior citizen. Of course, I don't want my taxes to go up. You know, we have a lot of fixed incomes, correct? Mine is one of them. I was receiving a $2,500 pension up until February 2016. My union went broke. You know what I'm getting now? The PBGC is paying my pension. It's a government entity, okay? I'm getting $800 a month after working 35 years in the union. That's pretty sad, right? But you know what? I have my health, my kids are healthy, my grandchildren are healthy, and I move on. I do what I have, okay? I make it work. And that's what we have to do here. We have to make it work. Thank you.
There's a long explanation that they just went through. I forgot the question. Real quick, I'm sorry.
Two parts, who do you work for and who has to make concessions, faculty or students?
Okay, concessions, it'll be faculty, because the school is a business and it needs to be run as a business. We represent the taxpayers running this business. It shouldn't be the teachers running the school. You gotta keep everything on a level playing field where things don't get out of control. We don't have a deficit. We don't have this meeting we're having right now about why is our budget $17 million? We could maintain something, but we gotta get the balance back. And as far as concessions, I would have to say it'd be the teachers. I mean, you don't want to take anything from the kids.
Hello, Joanna Dutcher from Berryville. I was one of the candidates. I apologize for backing out. Just with the recent passing of my mother, it just was too much. I do have a question. I have two questions for all three of you. I know that a lot of it is cut the teachers, cut the staff. Have you ever taught in a classroom with 24, 27 kindergartners who are just learning how to read? So if we go to this where we have one kindergarten class and cutting the teacher to only have one kindergarten class, what would be the solution for that? Because it's very hard. I teach first grade. It's very hard to teach 17 kids how to read. And my second question is that I have seen Mr. Halleck at many budget meetings. I've seen Mr. Tice, Mr. Carnesi. I know you're a wonderful entity in this community, but out of you, do you really feel that you know enough? No, it's not just the budget that this school is having difficulty with. This district has other difficulties and a lot of wonderful, wonderful things. Do you feel that you are qualified in order to bring that forward, to advance us forward, to keep us the reason why I moved to this district in 2006 and everything like that? So my first question is, what would be your solution of if there is a cut to the kindergarten class, because 24, 28 kids in a kindergarten class, it's very hard to teach them individual letters when you have 28. And my second one is, do you feel that you truly are qualified? Do you know educational law and policies beyond the budget in order to keep us afloat?
The answer is no. I do not know the law. But I'm a quick learner, and my heart's in the right place. And I want to do right by the district of children in the community. I'll learn, just like they're going to learn. I'm sure they don't know everything either, okay? And neither did Carol when she got on board, and neither did Mr. LaPut or anybody else. We're all in here for one reason, that's to help the children, the community, and save the district. And I'd be here lying to you if I told you I didn't know. I don't know. But I do know how to take care of my veterans, and I do that very well, not only in the community, but in the county, okay? When somebody has a problem, they come to me, and I take care of it ASAP. Thank you.
As far as the teacher goes, that's a tough one. And and that's where it's hard that you're going to be able to teach 27 kindergartens. I know it's like having 3 toddlers in a house. I don't want to have 27 kindergartens in a room with one person. I don't know what the answer to that is, but if we were able to find our way back, that would be one of the things that we need to really address immediately. is to make sure we get 2 kindergarten. Or, did we cut 2 kindergarten, did we cut a kindergarten, or did we do away with preschool? Pre-K.
Pre-K, and there's not enough students for 2 kindergartens right now.
How many students are for kindergarten?
I think there's 24.
Okay. I don't know. I can stand here, I'm not gonna blow smoke because I don't know, but I do know what it's like having little kids. As far as knowing anything or everything, I know a little bit about budgets and stuff like that. I spent 8 years on the town board dealing with budgets and stuff. You know, we went through a really bad time here at one time, you know, they wanted to throw rocks at us, this and that. And that's gonna happen, but you don't want it to get there. And that's where one of the mistakes that I was a part of, not gonna lie to anybody, I was a part of it on the town board, made a mistake. Taxes went up a little bit that year, the rumor was out there 9%, 5%, 6%, I think it was somewhere around 3 or 4%. But we hadn't raised them in 3 years, but you don't want to go down there. So that's one thing that I think I have a little bit going for me that I can hopefully keep it from that happening. But we are walking into a nightmare. Thank you.
I really don't like going third because going to the school with, I've never taught 27 kindergartners, but I have a 18-month-old at home, and he is a terror, just straight up terror. I couldn't imagine it. There's got to be options that we can explore, whether it's an aid to help or something. I mean, you can only ask so much of one person. And it would be crazy to do that. And if I get elected, it's definitely going to be this discussion. Once we financially get fit, I would love to bring the pre-K back. Because I have a son that's coming up to it. You know, it would just be nice. And it would complete the circle at school, have the kids ready for that next level. And as of law, no, I don't know school law at all, to be honest with you. But we're all learning. We're all here for the goodness of the kids and our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lori Jones from Glens Bay. And I want to say thank you also for all 3 of you for running your time, your energy. Thank you. To our current board members as well. Everyone, thank you. So the question I have, and I know this is not your vote, but you have the public's ear now running for a position. So my question is, on this current vote, are you advocating for the public to vote yes or no on the budget? And if you could explain why yes and why no for this vote that's going to be coming to us. I personally am voting yes, and I think it would be a disservice to our school, and I don't see how we would move forward with a no vote. But my opinion doesn't matter tonight, yours does. Please.
How did you get the mic? Sure. Me personally, I'm going to vote yes. Being the last, Caleb went over the numbers, our reserve fund is low. We need to build this up so we can move forward. I believe it was something like in excess of 300,000 going towards the reserve or something, some type of number like that. Any that we can go forward that's going to be used for our kids, I have absolutely no problem voting yes and telling everybody else, as long as it's going towards our kids.
I'm asking my supporters to vote yes on the budget. For the simple fact that Mr. Russell had a very short time to put that budget together. He's a newbie here, and he had to go through a lot of figures to try and get that budget together. And I think under the circumstances, it's the best budget we can get at this time. And I think we need to move forward, please. We need to move forward. We can worry about the budget next year when one of us are in office to make it better. But right now, we need to move forward. And that's my opinion. Scott?
I am definitely voting yes for the budget. I have never voted no for one budget, and I'm proud to say it. My taxes go up, that's fine. I have no problem paying school taxes. I'll take another job on, I'll do whatever I gotta do. If it's for our kids, I will do whatever I have to do. That's the way I feel. I am voting yes, and I hope that when you go behind that curtain, you think about your kids, our kids, not his kids, my kids, my grandkids. You think about our kids. We're a community. We're a school district. And we're very strong, and we've been very strong. People move into this district because of elderly. Been highly talked about. Has its ups and downs. We're in a low right now. We can bring it back as a strong community and a strong school district. I'm going to leave you with one thing. United we gain, divided we beg.
He said it's okay if I cut it, but I'm here already. And thank you very much, and I'm very glad to hear that it's a yes vote from everybody. Thank you. I would like somebody to address, can you hear me? Somebody, what does a no vote mean? So that the individuals that want a no vote, how does that put our district at risk? If somebody can answer that question. So I hear the yeses loud and clear, and I agree. What happened, and briefly, why is there concern for anybody that wants to vote no? Just so that they can hear that addressed.
They can certainly answer, but I also want to say that Caleb is doing his budget presentation for the public tonight, and people will be asking him questions, and he's going to address that specifically. Just so you know.
So everybody has to stay. I'm fine if you guys would like to answer that still, and then Caleb can reinforce it.
I've done a little research, and my understanding is that this budget doesn't go through. I guess the board can elect to bring it back up for a second vote would be one option. Or we go to an austerity budget would be the other option. And my understanding is if this budget doesn't go through, there's another $300,000 worth of cuts coming. So who does that affect? I hate to keep repeating myself, but I want it out there. That will affect our kids. Period. Period. And it doesn't look good as a school district or a community. I am all about community and school district, believe me. I got roots buried so deep here, you'll never dig them up. I was born and raised here, I own the mountain I was born on. You ain't gonna change my mind one bit. I will vote yes for every school budget that comes down the pipe as long as I'm alive. Thank you.
There isn't really much to say. Scott said it all. If we do not vote this budget, okay, it's going to set the district back. That's the bottom line. It's about the kids. So we need to move forward with the budget, and let's vote yes.
Again, third. Well, right now, our reserve fund for emergencies like a roof on a school is depleted. Say it costs us $500,000. We don't have the money to cover it. Are we going to get a grant or whatever money needed to make that happen? It's going to take time. We don't have it to where we can say, all right, it's leaking, let's get it fixed. This budget will help us have a little bit more stability in our funds. Thank you.
My name is Ron Derrickhoff. I'm from Eldred, New York. My question, I'm going to address it to Mr. Tice first, but I'd like everyone's opinion. You have children in the school. Do you think the school has a discipline problem?
I'm currently not in the school every day.
No, I'm not talking about you. You have kids in the school. So
There is some issues that are brought up.
I'd like to see the board have a stronger say in the discipline problem.
I agree.
Okay? When a rule is made, I'd like it enforced. When a code of conduct is written and signed, I'd like it enforced.
Frank, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not aware of what's going on, but I'm willing to sit down and talk to you about it. I have no problem with that. It definitely has to be enforced. I mean, that's what we're here to do. Like
I
I
want it to
said,
be like the old school, where the parents took control, they discipline their children, and they don't let the teachers do it all.
it starts at home.
If you got out of line, I'm sure your dad would. If I got out of line, I'm sure my dad would.
No doubt, no doubt. And I can't agree with you more, but it's got to start at home, and then it's got to, you know, it's got to funnel down, but it's got to start at home. You know, I hear something about attendance. That starts at home. If you don't know where your kids are the night before, they're not showing up for school, how can it be anybody in this room's fault? It's not a teacher's fault because they don't know where their kids are. I raised 3 kids. And 2 of them are sitting right there. You want to call North Carolina, that's where the other one is. They'll tell you themselves, I knew where they were at all times. And if I didn't, I handled it myself. You can ask my son about me coming home from a parents' conference one time.
He's too big now, those guys.
I have a baseball bat.
Okay, Franz, let's get back to your actual question here. Well, should the board have more control of the discipline and the controlled environment in school? It's not up to us. We implement it. It goes from there to teachers. Easy. Let me finish talking, okay? We're gonna talk respectfully, okay? Teachers have a job to do as much as us parents do. My kids are 18 months, 6, and 9. And they talk back, they're corrected. There's a lot of disrespect. There's a, quote, bullying issue going on. But that, to me, that starts at home. When I was a kid, which wasn't nearly as long ago as these guys, you know, it was handled. You were brought up to defend yourself, to be strong individual. You didn't go home and cry and say, little Johnny picked his nose and flicked it at me. It didn't work that way. You handled it. You took care of the job. But it's definitely a home issue. And it's sad to say. And we see it through even baseball and the soccer league. You can tell who's disciplined and who's not. That's it.
When I was going to school, and I come home and told my father, I went to Catholic school, and they actually hit you in Catholic school. They did, I swear to God. All right? I went home and told my parents that I was in trouble in school. They pulled my hair and go right to school instantly, right? 3 o'clock when I told them that. That's what happened. You're right, Scott. You're right. And believe me, I got it twice. From the teacher and then back at home. That's not happening today. We're too busy handing our children iPads, iPhones. We're not communicating at the supper table, okay? We're not doing family things. We're not even going to church anymore with other people, okay, as a family. That's the problem. They're not being disciplined at home. They're getting away with murder. And our teachers are there not to be parents. These kids should be parents at home. The teachers are there for one thing, and that's to teach your children. But when you have a problem in the school with a child, it has to be addressed as well. A lot of parents, I've seen it when I went to school for my children, they weren't angels, okay? And when I went to the school, the teacher said to me, your son did this. That's why I'll tell you what, first of all, let me say this. I had to take 2 hours off from work. I got to feed my 5 children, okay? And I don't even know if my boss is going to let me go back to work when I go back. 3 hours, you know? But When I got in front of that teacher and she told me he did this or she did that, I told her right out, listen, this teacher's got 35 kids in the class here. She has no time just to worry about what you're doing here. A lot of parents don't do that, okay? They say, not my kid. Why are you picking up my child? That's what we're going through today in a lot of the schools across the country. The video games they're watching are totally outrageous. That's why we're having shootings in the school. We're showing the kids how to be violent on our video games. And who's giving them games? The parents. So we have to take charge of our children. I took care of mine. They're all successful. They don't ask me for anything. I'm very proud of my 5 children, and I'm trying to do the same thing with my 11 plus grandchildren. Thank you.
We only have a few more minutes, so I think we have time for a few more questions.
Okay, sorry, Joanna Dutcher, Berryville. I had one thing to say, but now in light of the discipline, there has been a new policy put in place in regards to recess, and recess not being used for disciplinary issues. I'm not saying that it should be, but if elected, would you be willing to go back into that to give the teachers a little bit more of a way to, if there's consequences needed, that consequences would be able to be given? And also, at one of the last board meetings, there was a teacher that stood up, and it's on the video, I watched it, and the teachers are willing to pay more of a percent into their health insurance, which would greatly help our budget. I don't know the outcome of that. I heard that it was no, but I wasn't there for that outcome. Is that something, if you were elected, would you go back and say, oh, the teachers are willing to pay more into their insurance, which will take from the budget having to pay for it?
Yes and yes.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
Town or?
I think all options are open. And if the teachers are willing to give back a little bit for the children and to make the district vibrant again, I think that's awesome. And I commend you if you do that. Thank you. Anybody else?
We tried.
It's me again. Audrey Binkowski. So we've done a lot of talking tonight about the budget. I know it's on everybody's mind, and it's going to be a big portion of your job, but it's not the only portion of your job. You're going to be dealing with a lot of issues. And from talking with people in town, attending school board meetings, talking with teachers and students, the consensus is that we need some fresh thinking. We need some new ideas. And so I'd like to hear from each of you one innovative idea that you'll bring to the board.
Well, there's some things we could look into, like the sports. There's different things that get paid for the sports, whether it's scorekeeping, clock keeping, videographer. There's a list that goes on and on per game. Some get paid as much as 80 to 60, 50. If we could get our community involved and make that a volunteer basis, that would eliminate a big chunk of money that's going out in the district. I don't know how much. I haven't sat down and crunched all the games and all the different sports all together, but I believe that would help. It's an option.
I really don't have an answer for you, and I apologize for that, because like I said, just studying all this paperwork, and it's very overwhelming, to be honest with you. But can I tell you a little story what happened to me? Okay. Back in the day, I was a driver for Yellow Freight. Okay, Yellow Freight is one of the biggest freight companies in the United States. And what happened was, they came to us, the union, and said, we have a proposal. We know we signed a contract, a 5-year contract, but we have a proposal from Yellow Freight. They're doing bad. They're in trouble. They're looking for some concessions. And they got together all the shop stewards. We had a couple meetings on it. And basically what Yellow Freight said was that if you guys don't give up certain things, we're going to close the doors. I said, wow, I got 5 kids, I can't afford to have the doors closed, how am I gonna feed them? Where do I go? What's my next move, you know? So we sat down at the bargaining table, okay, and everybody agreed that we should give back. And man, did we give back. We gave back personal days, sick days, and they did not contribute into our pension fund, get this, for 9 years. 9 years, we lost money in our pension fund. My son works for Yellow Freight today, which owned Roadway Express, and they merged together. Now it's YRC, you'll see it on 84 and different highways. The point I'm making to get at is that my son had to leave Yellow Freight to go work for UPS and start at the bottom of the list at the lowest scale pay, okay, to support his family because he wasn't getting the benefits from Yellow Freight no more. That contract still exists till next year. So, yes, sometimes we have to give back. Sometimes it's going to hurt. But you know what? In the end, you know, we can make this district better if we can save some money. And that's the bottom line, wherever it comes from.
I'm sorry too, I really don't have any interest for that because I've been so wrapped up in the budget, so wrapped up in the cutbacks and taking the field trips away from the students and stuff like that. I think if I understand, where'd you go? Oh, yeah. Come back here. I think your question was new ideas as far as without budget.
Just one idea.
Well, I'm kind of looking towards, we're talking to a few people about insurances. See if we can save some money there. As far as new ideas, it has nothing to do with the budget or saving money, something for the kids. I honestly haven't thought about that because I've been so wrapped up in everything that's been going on financially wise. So I'm sorry that I can't answer, you know, a new class or a new game or sport or something like that. I just haven't thought about that, I'm sorry.
Something to think about.
Yes.
Okay, everyone, I would like to say one more time thank you to all of our candidates, Mr. Howard, Mr. Price, Mr. Gracie. Thank you very much to everyone for coming out tonight and sharing your questions and your thoughts and ideas. I would like to point out that we have some delicious snacks over here. Please help yourself, courtesy of the PTA at Mackenzie. And I invite you all to stay for the regular Board of Ed meeting that starts at 7 o'clock. Thank you very much.